In November 2021, a 26-year-old software engineer in El Salvador checked his phone and realized he was a millionaire. He had bought Bitcoin 3 years earlier at $4,000 per coin. It was now sitting at $68,000. He had not done anything. He had not built a company. He had not invented a product. He had simply bought a string of digital code and waited. 6 months later, he checked his phone again. Bitcoin was at $20,000. A year after that, it briefly touched $16,000. He was not a millionaire anymore. He had not done anything differently the second time either. That is the story of global cryptocurrency in miniature. Extraordinary wealth created at extraordinary speed. Then extraordinary wealth destroyed at extraordinary speed. And in the middle of all of it, hundreds of millions of ordinary people trying to figure out whether they were witnessing the future of money or the largest speculative bubble in human history. Both things, it turns out, might be true simultaneously. So let us start from the beginning. Not the technical beginning with cryptographic hash functions and Byzantine fault tolerance. The real beginning. The human beginning. The year is 2008. The global financial system is collapsing. Banks that were considered permanent institutions are disappearing overnight. Governments are printing trillions of dollars to bail out the institutions that caused the crisis. And ordinary people, watching their savings evaporate and their homes foreclose, are developing a deep and entirely rational distrust of centralized financial institutions. Into that precise moment of maximum distrust, someone or a group of people publishing under the name Satoshi Nakamoto released a 9-page document. A white paper describing a peer-to-peer electronic cash system that required no banks, no governments, no central authority of any kind. Bitcoin was born from a crisis of institutional trust. That is not a coincidence. That is the entire point. The core innovation was something called the blockchain. A distributed ledger, meaning a record of transactions copied across thousands of computers simultaneously, so that no single entity could control, alter, or falsify it. Every transaction ever made in Bitcoin is visible to anyone, permanent, and mathematically verified. It was genuinely revolutionary technology. The ability to transfer value between two people anywhere on Earth without a bank, without a government, without a fee-collecting intermediary. For the first time in history, digital scarcity was possible. You cannot copy a Bitcoin the way you copy a file. The total supply of Bitcoin is mathematically capped at 21 million coins. Forever. No government can print more. No central bank can devalue it by expanding the supply. That fixed scarcity is why some people call it digital gold and why others call it the most important monetary innovation since the invention of paper currency. By 2013, Bitcoin price had crossed $1,000 for the first time. The mainstream world started paying attention. Then came the ecosystem. Ethereum, launched in 2015, took the blockchain concept further. Not just currency but programmable contracts. Code that executes automatically when conditions are met. No lawyers, no intermediaries, no trust required between parties who have never met. From Ethereum came DeFi, decentralized finance. Lending, borrowing, earning interest, all without banks. From Ethereum came NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which were either a revolutionary model for digital ownership or the most elaborate JPEG selling scheme ever conceived, depending on who you asked. By 2021, the total global crypto market cap had reached nearly $3 trillion. $3 trillion of value, created in 13 years, from a technology that most governments, most banks, and most economists had spent a decade dismissing as irrelevant. They stopped dismissing it. And
here is the irony that the original Bitcoin white paper never anticipated. The technology designed to eliminate banks became, within a decade, heavily dominated by banks. by hedge funds, by venture capital firms, by the same institutional players that the system was explicitly built to bypass. By 2022, institutional investors held an estimated 40% of all Bitcoin in circulation. The decentralized currency of the people had become, in significant part, a speculative asset held by the same financial elite that Satoshi's whitepaper was written in reaction to. History has a sense of humor. It is just rarely funny in the moment. Now let us talk about the cryptocurrency market crash of 2022. Because it revealed something important about what the market had actually become. Between November 2021 and November 2022, the total crypto market cap fell from $3 trillion to approximately $800 billion. That is a loss of $2.2 trillion in 12 months. More wealth destroyed, faster, than almost any asset class in recorded history. Bitcoin fell 77%. Ethereum fell 79%. Hundreds of smaller coins, the so-called altcoins, fell 90, 95, in some cases 99%. And in the middle of that collapse, in May 2022, a coin called Terra Luna imploded in 72 hours. $40 billion in market value gone in 3 days. Not because of a hack. Not because of regulation. Because the algorithmic mechanism holding its value together was mathematically unstable from the beginning. People who understood the code knew it. Most investors did not. Then in November 2022, FTX, the second largest crypto exchange in the world, collapsed. Its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, who had been on the covers of magazines, testifying before Congress, donating to political campaigns, turned out to have been using customer funds to cover trading losses at his affiliated hedge fund. $8 billion in customer money. Gone. He is currently serving a 25-year prison sentence. The customers are still waiting for most of their money. The crypto regulation conversation, which had been slow and fragmented, suddenly became urgent. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission began aggressive enforcement actions. The European Union implemented its comprehensive MiCA framework, Markets in Crypto Assets, establishing the first major regulatory structure for digital assets across an entire continent. China had already banned crypto mining and trading entirely in 2021, citing financial stability risks and energy consumption concerns. A single regulatory decision by Beijing wiped out roughly 50% of global Bitcoin mining capacity overnight. The Bitcoin mining energy question is itself a significant and unresolved issue. The Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance estimated that Bitcoin mining consumes more electricity annually than the entire country of Argentina. In a world increasingly focused on carbon emissions and energy transition, that number is not politically sustainable indefinitely. And yet the technology continues to develop. Ethereum moved from energy-intensive proof of work to proof of stake in 2022. Reducing its energy consumption by approximately 99.9% overnight. Progress is possible. It just requires the will to prioritize it. Blockchain technology itself, separate from speculative crypto trading, is being adopted by central banks, supply chains, healthcare systems, and governments. Over 100 countries are exploring or actively developing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which are essentially government-controlled digital currencies built on similar underlying technology. The irony is complete. The technology built to replace government money is now being used by governments to build better government money. So here is where we stand in 2025. Cryptocurrency is simultaneously a genuine technological innovation, a speculative asset class with extreme volatility, a tool for financial inclusion in underbanked populations, a vehicle for fraud and manipulation, a target of intensifying global regulation, and an industry generating hundreds of billions of dollars in annual transaction volume. It is all of those things at once. Anyone telling you it is only one of them is either uninformed or selling something. The question that regulators, economists, technologists, and the 300 million people currently holding digital assets are all trying to answer is the same question Satoshi implicitly asked in 2008. Can you build a financial system that is fairer, more transparent, and more accessible than the one that already exists? The technology said yes. The humans who got hold of it immediately began recreating the same structures of concentrated power, information asymmetry, and institutional advantage that the technology was designed to escape.